NBA Straya, how are you going? Hey, again? You're right? I hope so. This is NBA Straya. I am your host. James Clemens, another year older, another year wiser. That's what I am. Still recovering, actually, from my birthday, I'll tell you that much. I'm the editor of CodeBet. That's a good website. Go check it out. But you might have also seen this podcasting mug of mine. Oh, do you get it? Jim's ugly. On Fox Sports Lab, NBA, or in the paper every single day, all the way around this wide brown land of ours. Here in Larryama Studios, trying to keep it down a little bit. I just put the second squid to bed. Squid Dose, as he's called. And the old foot's a bit sore again, so I flared up in a weird spot. Oh, I don't know what I've done to it. Either way, I'm here hanging out really quickly to give you a quick mock draft, wrap up a bit of a, I don't know, zinger. That's right. The Extreme Zinger Meal. He's gone.
The Extreme Zinger Meal.
To Boston. That's going to be interesting. Smart is off to Memphis. We'll talk about that. There's another trade that saw Denver get into the first round. And I forgot to mention the Ja Morant suspension last week. Just completely missed it on my notes because I'm a moron. But yeah, we'll go through, I don't know what, the lottery. And do some NRs and we'll get out of here. Because we'll do a live stream as the actual draft's happening tomorrow. So why not? Just a quick little, this is what's going to happen, maybe, perhaps, but then it'll just turn out to be absolute chaos. So not much you can do to predict that, I reckon. All right, so some NRs, the unpopular opinion of the day now. Back takehouse. We were serving up a flame grilled take. And that'll be it. So we'll get out of here very quick. Nicely done. 9:52. That's right, episode 952 of NBA Straya. Let's go.
The worst of these.
This is Joe Ingles, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
Watch out for the shark attack!
You better. Just watch out for the attack of the ingrates there in Boston. You can give them your heart and soul, and they'll turn around and fucking cut it right out of your fucking chest, eh, Marcus Smart? But either way, the Supercharged Zinger Burger is on his way to Boston. How's the Latvian gangbanger going to go to up there in Beantown? What do you reckon? That's going to be interesting. But either way, we had this one happen today. Some pretty gnarly stuff where the three-teamer that was going to send Malcolm Brogdon, El Presidente, off to the LA Clippers. The Zinger.
The Extreme Zinger Meal.
Up to Boston, and you're going to have a bit of other stuff going, and then it fell apart. It just flat out fell apart, which is kind of funny. I always like it when that sort of shit happens. It's like, oh, well, we got one look at Brogdon's medicals and went, fuck it, bro, we're good. The other sort of little bit of news as well. Chris Middleton's declined his $40 million player option. Pretty crazy, but I mean, the other sort of, there was that little bit about Denver also snagging a late first rounder from the Pacers, which I'm really enjoying. So the Nuggets send off the 2024 first rounder and the 40th pick in this one for the 29 and 32nd picks in this draft. It's pretty good. Don't mind this. Denver just going, all right, how do we keep building around the Joker with cheap young talent, considering we've got three dudes on max contracts? We're a bit fact, but they're figuring it out. I kind of like it. Good on them. But otherwise, it's just to sort of look to the future of right, so we have to pay a shit ton of money if we want to stay good, huh? I mean, you saw what? Christian Brown, and Peyton Watson, what were they? The 21 and 30 picks last year. Also step up, so kind of handy. But then, of course, you saw, speaking of which, the Brad Beal deal. The Beal deal? That's right, the Brad Beal deal. That everyone had, we're all hot and flustered over. And there was a couple of other sort of dudes being maneuvered in that. What was it? It was, you had the other guys, right? Isaiah Todd, Jordan Goodwin, off to the Suns as well as Brad Beal. I mean, these are the sorts of dudes that you need to fill out that roster when you're so top-heavy. Roster. But anyway, look, it's kind of neat. And you'll see this as it expands this deal, the Smart-Zinger
Extreme Zinger Meal.
deal, where there's like the likes of Danilo Gallinari and Moose Muscala, two blokes who were more than happy to play for the Boston Celtics and didn't get much of a chance, especially Gallo. Grew up a Celtics fan, has talked at length about his dad and he growing up, loving Larry Bird, and the Celtics just knife in the back. Ask Aaron Baines all about that. Ask Isaiah Thomas, just saying. Anyway, other little bit of news. Mike Dunleavy is now the general manager there in Golden State. Good on him. And we still don't know what's going to happen with Chris Paul, which is kind of fun. Anyway, Fred VanVleet, he's declined his option. He's going to be a free agent. That's going to be fascinating. God, he'd be good in a couple of good places, wouldn't he? But who knows? The Raptors could just bring him back on even more money. Will Zion get traded? No one knows. Draymond's declined his player option, so he's going to be a free agent as well. He's out there tickling LeBron's nuts. James Harden, he's got until the 29th of June to decide on his player option as well for next year. Sounds like he's going to be back at the Sixers. Who knows? And I don't know, the Dame domino is still waiting to fall. Kuzma has declined his player option. I don't know. Kuzma's going to love Houston. Kuzma's definitely going to go back to Washington on a shit ton of money, because what's Kuzma really going to win you? Nothing. Gary Terrence Trent D'Arby Jr. picked up his $18.5 million deal as well to stay with the Raps. And I don't know, the Bruce Brown declined his player option. Makes sense. Good on him. Otherwise, let's talk about this Zinger deal. Extreme Zinger Meal.
Extreme Zinger Meal.
Do you reckon you can ask for a couple of Extreme Zinger Meals if you're going to trade for the Zinger? No, this is fascinating because Washington, in the most absolutely perfectly Washington way, I absolutely love Washington and their approach in this, because to trade your two best players for 0 first-rounders, a handful of seconds, a couple of pick swaps that'll not matter, a backup point guard in Tyus Jones, Landry Shamet, and the ability to pay Chris Paul to not play for you. I mean, this is the most Washington shit you'll ever see. This is the Wizards as a franchise. That's just what they do. They go, what's that? Oh, it's my dick. I better shoot myself in it time and time again. But look, you'll hear a bunch of dorks go, oh, well, at least they've decided on a course of action. I mean, you can also decide to fucking run your goddamn head into a brick wall time and time again. Doesn't make it smart. But still, look, to get rid of the Extreme Zinger Meal.
Extreme Zinger Meal.
Brad Beal, and all you've got to show for it is like, oh, well, we're going to pay off Chris Paul. Awesome. You've done a great job. But this is really the most Wizards thing ever, isn't it? To just go into the absolute tank the year after a generational talent was the number one pick. Just every Wizards fan is going to be over the moon with this year. It's like, oh, but we had a great year. We got to watch Brad Beal and Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis do fuck all. Great job, idiots. Just amazing. Amazing work. But really, the Smart Zinger trade is fascinating on a couple of fronts, isn't it? Because, I mean, to grade it, Memphis, I'll give that an A. You get, oh, but Jim, they gave up 2 firsts to get Marcus Smart and Tyus Jones. Yeah, you got Smart for a shit first rounder and probably another shit first rounder, and Tyus Jones, who's been handy, but let's be fucking honest, he's not he's not a defensive player to the degree that Smart is. Smart gives you the veteran. You're basically doing a bit of consolidation, aren't you, if you're Memphis? You're like, yep, I've got a bunch of young dudes already. We're going to piss off Dylan Brooks because he fucking sucks, and we'll just replace him with Smart. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. And don't forget, you don't have Ja Morant for 25 games at the start of next season because he fucking just loves showing guns on Instagram. That's what he's addicted to. He's just like, I fucking love lighters. I love lighters in the shape of guns. I'm going to show it on Instagram. Please don't suspend me again. He's gone and done it. 25 games later. Anyway, but Smart becomes a really great sort of plug-and-play spot for Memphis. You love to see that. And then even when Ja gets back, you've got Smart, you've got Desmond Bain, and you have like an incredible 3-guard rotation there. That's awesome. I absolutely love this. So it just gives them like a sense of, I don't know, defensive capability that they probably didn't have. But like, it's about to roll Smart and Bane out there as well as Triple J, Zaire Williams. I mean, it's just kind of fun. They've just got a couple of weird sort of aspects about what they do that can really fuck shit up. It's going to be awesome. Anyway, I do love this. So, good on Memphis. They get an A. Boston. I also don't mind it for Boston. Seriously.
Extreme Zinger Meal.
You didn't need another guard. Trading Smart clearly hurts, but for all the arguments like, oh, but now Boston don't have anybody to keep him in line and be the tough guy. Smart wasn't doing that anyway. They got completely out-toughed time and fucking time again by every sort of team. So now at least you go, fuck it, we'll roll the dice with a giant 7'2" Latvian. Maybe this will make the Tatum and Brown combo just work in like a weird way that it hasn't before. My big problem with this is like, who the fuck is going to pass the ball on this team? Like, Ime Udoka unlocked Marcus Smart, which was awesome. And then Joey Muzz kind of locked him back up again. And that team didn't know what the fuck to do with the ball when they had it all the way through those playoffs, time and time again. Jaylen Brown can't dribble. He can't go left. Tatum's gotten better and better and better, but he's like a 6'9", 6'10", wing forward, biggish kind of dude. Do you want the ball in his hand the entire time? You thought you was Kobe. But now it's just like, all right, this is the Derek White show. This is the El Presidente Malcolm Brogdon show. And this is the most overrated player in the NBA, Peyton Pritchard show. That's fine. That's fine. I actually don't mind this, though, because you just kick the fucking tires on Kristaps Porzingis. As long as you don't extend him, like right now. He's had one good year. Good on him. He played some games this year, and he wasn't bad, and we're doing fucking backflips. It's like, yeah, I think the response has been pretty nicely muted, though. He averaged, 23 and 8 last year. Anytime you can give me a 7'3" dude that averages 8 rebounds a game, color me fucking shocked. And just go, I'm not that convinced. I'll tell you. I mean, yeesh. Anyway. But in terms of like the Zinger, I'm fascinated to see how this works. More than anything, I'm just fascinated. He played 65 games last year to the Zinger. It's the most he's played since his second year with New York. Fucking hell. It's also blowing my mind that the Zinger's been in the NBA for like, I don't know, 8 years? Bloody hell. But he's only 27, so let's do it. I'll give Boston a B+, just because I like fuck it, we're going to change it somehow, so let's just do it. And that's what they did. They changed it up pretty dramatically, and now they have Kristaps Porzingis on their team.
Supercharged Zinger Burger.
Meanwhile, Washington, they got played F. Seriously, well, he wouldn't have opted in anyway. Oh, yeah, cool. Point to me all the people who would have paid him in free agency. Washington, Indiana, the San Antonio Banderas Spurs, Charlotte. Like, really? What are we doing here? So you got Tyus Jones in number 35. Really? For a bloke who could have walked anyway. Yeah, sure he would have. Anyway, I just am stunned that Michael Winger comes in, goes, nah, man, I'm going to clean house. It's like, you can get things in return. I know that Brad Beal had a no trade clause and that wasn't your fault, but I still feel like you should at least get one first rounder back. Oh, but Phoenix didn't have any to give. It's like, well, they should probably do something about that. Ugh. Anyway, but really, as I said, their two best players are gone now. They get 0 first in return, a couple of pick swaps, a handful of seconds, giving Washington an F. Ja Morant suspended for 25 games for showing off a gun again. But really, we all know what this is for. I can't believe you spit in my face. Adam Silver getting angry. Just getting so angry at Ja Morant. Like if Ja Morant had have gotten his dick out in public Adam Silver would not have been more angry. It'll be like, it's fine to get your wang out, but don't show me any guns. Okay, Adam. All right. Still. Otherwise, we're going to see a fucking cacophony of moves tomorrow. It's going to be gnarly. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun to try to track this. Chris Middleton, like him declining his $40 million deal. This smacks to me of like Milwaukee just going, all right, well, our next step is, hey, Giannis, do you want us to keep Chris? And if Giannis says yes, then they keep Chris Middleton. If Giannis goes, look, if you can get someone better, that's fine too. Then Milwaukee will try that. I think they just bring him back on a longer deal. Probably at a slightly lower number, but it's going to be pretty fun. Otherwise, let's finish off the show with a couple of, we'll do the mock draft and then a quick couple of yeah-nahs and Outback Takehouse, and then we'll piss off because my foot's hurting. I need to go sit down, and I don't want to wait the squids. So let's bloody well get into it. The final. NBA Straya. Mocketh. Draft. Now, this is basically just coming down to, I don't know, what I wrote in my column yesterday, which has already changed a little bit, but I still think we're going, obviously, Wemby number one with San Antonio, obviously. Like, unbackable. The dude is going to be amazing. Everyone's like, oh, he's basically, if you combine Kevin Garnett and Kevin Durant, made him French and even taller. And you're like, Jesus, that's not bad. You watch him and you're like, yeah, he's going to get clobbered for a couple of years. That's fine. He's going to be awesome. The dude is so talented. It's ridiculous. Number 2, MJ got negged by Brandon Miller into taking him at number 2, likely. Brandon Miller, I just worry about Miller and his supposed elite shooting, which just smacks of a little bit like of, I don't know. He hasn't seemed that elite. You know? It's been very much like, all right, he can get going when he needs to, and you have those moments of like, he could be Brandon Ingram or Jason Tatum, that sort of really big wing. And I'm like, it's Charlotte. I just see too much Marvin Williams here. Atlanta's favorite. You know? And it would be very fitting that Scoot Henderson looks kind of Chris Paul-y to a degree. And to a degree where you go, it would be very funny if someone took another Marvin Williams ahead of another Chris Paul. It would just be funny. I would have to just simply laugh and laugh. Anyway. But look, number 2, Miller's now like shortened absolutely dramatically to go number 2 in the draft. And so much of me just goes, you know what, Charlotte? You could probably finagle this where if you really want Brandon Miller, there's got to be some moving around here of like, do we have to take him at 2? Can we get him at 3? Can we make a deal with Portland? What can we do? Just threaten more and more and more. Don't make it so obvious that you're going to take Brandon Miller. But either way, apparently he negged MJ and said, you're old. I love Paul George more than you. You're shit. Fuck you, old man. And to be honest, that's just Michael Jordan going. And I respected that. 100%. You love the competitiveness, sure. But Miller at number 2. Number 3, Scoot. I still am of the opinion that you should just trade Dame. Move on. Do what you can. Trade Dame. Work with him to figure out what you're going to do and then just burn this to the ground. Take Scoot at 3. Go, right, we're going Scoot, Shaden Sharp, Penny Simons, whatever we need to do. We'll find a big dude. Off we go. And skadoosh. Fascinating setup there in Portland, though. But Scoot is like $1.20 as well. So it feels like 1, 2, 3. Wemby. Brandon Miller. Scoot. Number 4. Now, this is my favorite. Like, all right, what would you want to see mock draft, basically, right? Number 4, Houston. They probably should take Jarris Walker. Local Houston Cougar. Loves the local Houston Cougars, no doubt. He's at $34, though, to go 4 now. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I do like the fit. But it does feel like they're going to go Amen Thompson. He has that sort of, I don't know, that sort of weird vibe about him where you watch him, you watch his tape and you go, yeah, he's got like the sort of Simo vibe, doesn't quite have the shooting with the athleticism, psycho. Kind of don't mind it. You are rolling the dice a little bit here, but Jalen Green, put him next to him, you go, bang, off we go. It would be kind of sick. You know, he's pretty big. He's, 6'6", so's his twin brother. And I just kind of like it, where he's just the sort of defender, creator. Put him next to Jalen Green. Piss off the soup Nazi, Kevin Porter Jr. Away go. So give me Amen Thompson. But Jarris Walker would be pretty fun there too. It would also be very funny if also Thompson went 5. I feel like you got to take the Thompson twins back to back. So Detroit, don't let me down. Detroit should take Jarris Walker, if he's still there. But I've got a feeling they'll go Thompson at 5. It feels like Cam Whitmore, which was my pick the other day, where it felt like a lock. And then they had another round of workouts, and all that sort of trick out of that is that Whitmore just seemed like a massive dickhead and everyone fucking hated him. So he's very rapidly dropped down the draft boards there, Jim. I just want to see the Thompsons go back to back. I think it's really cool. Number 6, that would be a pretty funny sort of position, right? Number 6, where Orlando are like, we already have a lot of young dudes. Can we either trade 6 and 11 to move up to 4 or 5? Or can we trade them both to piss them off and like get something else? But I sort of feel like they need a tough sort of big wing like Walker. He's at 850. I feel like the Thompson twins will be gone at this point. Do they want another weird sort of backcourt scorer like Whitmore? Do they want a big wing like Taylor Hendricks? Do they want a shooter like the Dick Man? Not at 6. Piss him off. I kind of feel like Anthony Black should probably be the pick, but if Walker's still there, like I feel like it's tough to go past like a tough big dude. I don't know. So Anthony Black, I'm sort of just between he going 6 or 8 and Washington. It's just a bit weird, but I feel like Black is right there. He's bigger. He just sort of fits next to Paolo Banchero and Franz. Gives them an even sort of bigger guard sort of dude. I don't mind it. Oof. I think it's Anthony Black. Number 7, Indy. They would fucking flip if they could get Jarris Walker at 7. And I think that's who's there at this point. It's just a bit of a tricky one, right? It's either, I'd say, Jarris Walker or Taylor Hendricks. And that's where I'd probably go. I'd probably go with Jarris Walker. Just make that Indy team a little bit tougher. I feel like the fit is kind of beautiful. Number 8, if Anthony Black is gone, then I would just go, right, what are we doing here? Because you sort of backed yourselves into a bit of a corner if you suddenly don't have Anthony Black. You'd have to go like someone like Taylor Hendricks or Cam Whitmore and just hope that they turn out fucking awesome at that point. Number 9, they're in Utah. I've still got a little bit of love in my heart for Bilal Coulibaly. So I think if we go 8, let's go Cam Whitmore, fuck it, to Washington. They might go, right, maybe this time we'll hit on a bigger kind of swing dude who can, fill it up a little bit. What do you reckon? If either of the Thompsons are still there, if Black's still there, he goes as well. I just don't know. It feels like Whitmore, Kobe Buffkin. Kobe Buffkin would also be the most Washington pick here because he's got a name where it's like, oh, that's a cool name, and then a dork name, and you're like, and he might just be like, I don't know, Delon Wright, and you're like, oof, that's not great. But either way, number 9, what do we reckon there? Well, if we've given Whitmore at 8, let's go 9, Taylor Hendricks then, instead of Bilal Coulibaly, which is where he should go. 10, Derek Lively, it's just like the big dude, and Dallas we need a big dude. It's like, all right, cool. Whoever's left, maybe Kobe Buffkin, maybe Hendricks, maybe Coulibaly, but Lively seems likely at 11. And from then on out, it sort of gets a bit wonky, right? So I feel like Kobe Buffkin probably goes 11, then maybe to the Magic. 12, give me Bilal Coulibaly, or maybe Keontae George, maybe another sort of weird shootery kind of dude. That'd actually kind of fit the Thunder a bit, wouldn't it? They could use just another gunner who actually seems like he might know what he's doing. You've also got Noah Clowney, the sort of big dude. He might end up as a bit of a Zion replacement there, though, at number 14 for the New Orleans Pelicans. But I feel like the Pelicans need some more shooting. Give me Jordan Hawkins, I reckon, for the Pels. That'd be kind of fun. And then 15, Atlanta. Wouldn't mind a bit of Nick Smith. Give me a bit of Nick Smith Jr. Just a bit of a gun at 15. Fuck it. Or there is also, I don't know what, Jet Howard from Michigan. They could always use more wings on that fucking weird Atlanta team. But otherwise, there's like 15 picks. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a bit wonky. Grady Dick, I feel like he might still get in there. I just don't know, but oof. Do we end up picking somebody for Toronto? Maybe Grady Dick goes to Toronto. There you go. Done. Checks out. All right, let's do some quick yeah-nahs and then piss off right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're
Straya.
listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, some quick yeah-nahs brought to you by the NBA Straya shop. Get your merch.
Get your merch, get your merch. Wear it. Get your merch, get your merch. Get your merch, get your merch.
Yeah, do it, nbastraya.com/shop, or just click through on the socials. Off you go. Some quick yeah-nahs. Does the Extreme Zinger Meal work in Boston?
Extreme Zinger Meal.
Yeah, nah. If there was a coach that wasn't Joey Muzz, I'd kind of like it. You know, to be like, ooh, some fun wrinkles you can throw at some stuff. Some actual big high pick and rolls. A bloke who isn't Al Horford. He might actually hit some shots. This could be interesting. I feel like he can work. I just don't trust Joey Muzz. So I'm going to say nah. I think it's just like a hilarious sort of like, he got injured. Jeez, what have we done? But I don't mind the swing for the fences-ish kind of move. Like he gives him another rim protector. Defensively, doesn't really move out to the perimeter all that well, but like if he can just get another sort of clear run at it health-wise this year, it does make them fucking wildly interesting. I'll give them that. Because, I don't know, Boston continue to be pretty interesting, obviously, with Brown and Tatum and co, but goddamn, throw the zinger to the mix and off we go. Memphis got a steal. Yeah, nah. I mean, they gave up a bit to go and get Marcus Smart, but in terms of all the names that you'd be like, well, we need to replace 25 games worth of Ja Morant. This is outside of Chris Paul. This is probably your best option. And now I sort of think about it, maybe Chris Paul would have been a better one because he could at least hang out, tell Ja to pull his fucking head in and not show off his fucking lighter guns. And away we go. But I kind of love it because you know that Marcus Smart's going to play with the world's biggest chip on his shoulder. That might work against them a little bit, though. Just keep an eye on that, Memphis. I'm just saying. But he is going to give them just such a great fucking feral edge. In much the same way as the grit and grind Grizzlies had. Man, like Marcus Smart is just going to be fucking such a good fit for that team. Just think about it. If you have him in place of Dylan Brooks throughout last year, how much different do you reckon that Memphis season looks? Way fucking different. Just saying. And all right, a couple of draft yeah-nahs. Is this draft overblown? Have we talked ourselves into a bunch of shit dudes? Yeah, nah. Look, I think Wemby and Scoot cover up a lot of problems in this draft. Like Jarris Walker, if you actually watched him, you're like, there's some pretty fucking big holes in his game anyway, right? Who doesn't love a bit of an undersized-ish kind of power forward? But, you know, you're like, oh, is he kind of Julius Randle? Is he Obi Toppin? It's like, is he Paul Millsap? Nobody really knows, but I don't know. The Thompson twins, it's like great. They're fucking crazy athletic. They're both 20 and like they were playing in basically bumped up AAU this season for overtime elite. Okay. How can they both not shoot? Basically, I think what you're going to do is you're going to look at this draft in a couple of years' time and go, oh, that guy really popped. You know? It'll be a bunch of that sort of stuff. You'll be like, wow, how did Taylor Hendricks end up as like the best player in that draft? It'll be like the Paul George draft, you know? Where it's like, wow, Paul George went that low? It's like, yeah. No one thought he was that good. Then he grew an extra bit. And it was chaos. It's like, how did Kawhi go so late? It's like, yeah, well, dude couldn't shoot either. So here you are. But like Paul George, you think about, what was that draft? That was John Wall, Evan Turner, Favors and stuff. Boogie. It's like, how did Al-Farouq Aminu go ahead of Paul George? You're like, well, he was a very weirdly shaped gentleman. So yeah. Couldn't play basketball great either, though. But I feel like that's what we're going to end up with looking at this draft, right? It's like, wow, how did that guy go so late? It's like, it's a lot of swings. And with swings comes a lot of misses, I feel, right? Where you look at the Thompson twins and you think, all right, cool. If they were just short of Ben Simmons's, great. But Taylor Hendricks could be unfucking real. Anthony Black, dude could be an absolute chaos defender, but can he fucking, like, shoot? It's like Josh Giddey didn't shoot. Well, he did, but he didn't shoot great. He got better. Maybe Anthony Black gets better. Maybe he just turns into a slightly taller Markelle Fultz. You know, that sort of vibe. Cam Whitmore. Grady Dick. Maybe just a couple of these. Maybe Kobe Buffkin. Nah, come on. We're not going with Kobe Buffkin. You seen that dude? He looks too weird and he's got a weird last name. Jordan Hawkins might just turn into something, but basically what I'm saying is this, the more you sort of dig into this draft, you're like, yeah, there's some pretty interesting dudes here, but the depth of quality role players is kind of all it's really got going for it. Like, it seems like there's a low floor for a lot of these dudes, but not giant ceilings. So essentially that kind of leads me to the old unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. It's like one of the random sort of drafts where you're like, yeah, I feel like we can pump the brakes a little bit. It should be interesting. Like Cason Wallace. Woo. All right. Noah Clowney. Jaime Jaquez. The other Murray. Chris as opposed to Keegan. James Nagy. Like, just, it's a lot of odd names where you're like, not really convinced there's a lot of great dudes, which kind of leads into the very nice and apropos Outback Takehouse. Let's do it. It's Thursday at Outback. You know what that means? Oh, yeah. Oh, bloody hell. Here we go. 2 for 1 bloomin' onions. Who the fuck put this on the menu? No Australia knows what the fuck these things are. Are you trying to tell me it's some sort of flour, but it's an onion? Oh, fuck off, Tony Abbott. Jesus, you're a weirdo. Stop trying to put shit on my fucking menu. Well, I don't care that it's deep fried. Fuck off, idiot. Anyway, 2 for 1. Only at Outback. And today's flame grill take is, just watch Portland tomorrow go, actually, fuck it. Hey, New Orleans, here's the number 3 pick. Give us Zion Williamson. And Dame Lillard and Zion Williamson end up on the same league, on the same team together up there in Portland. Not only that, the Charlotte Hornets also go, you know what? Fuck this. We don't want number 2. We don't want Brandon Miller. Hey, New Orleans, give us Brandon Ingram. And New Orleans go all in and get pick number 2 and 3. And then take Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson in a hilarious twist of fate. Only at Outback. That and the Thompson twins go back-to-back as some of my favourite vibes. Either way, that's it for today. That's it for today's show. We'll jump on and do a live stream at the start of the draft. We'll sort of just follow along. There'll be no doubt a bunch of trades and shit just before it all happens. So we'll catch you all up on that tomorrow morning. Yeah, which is good. Hopefully my foot's feeling fucking better. That is a pain in the ass. Well, a pain in the foot, as it really were. Either way, should be good. So remember, I think what we had Wemby, Brandon Miller, Scoot, Amen, then Orsar Thompson. I think we had Anthony Black go 6, 7 Jarris Walker, 8. I believe we went with Cam Whitmore, so it meant 9. Taylor Hendricks went to Utah. 10, you just go fucking Derek Lively, why not? Kobe Buffkin, Grady Dick, I think ended up in Toronto in this one. We gave Bilal Coulibaly, he went off, and we had Noah Clowney, I think, to New Orleans, all the good stuff. Either way, we'll be doing a massive, massive show tomorrow, live, across all the NBA Straya socials. So, should be good. My favourite pick and bet for the entire thing is probably Anthony Black's draft position under 8.5. It's just like, yeah, I think that's locked away. And Bilal Coulibaly, under 11.5 as well. I think he just slips in there at 11. I think Orlando might roll a dice. 11 is a fascinating spot for Orlando as well, isn't it? So we'll see what happens there. Keontae George, I think under 13.5 for him. It's pretty good as well. And Jordan Hawkins, under 14.5. I reckon he might just slip in there. Should be pretty good. Jarris Walker, over 6.5 now. Not a bad idea. Just saying. Cam Whitmore, his over-under. Where is that one? I had that up. Anyway, if it's over 5.5 still, I think it's now off the board. But either way, that would have been pretty funny. Righto, we'll be doing all that live for you tomorrow morning at the draft. Going to be sick. So follow NBA Straya on Twitter, Facey, IG. We'll be across all of them live with a live stream for the NBA draft. Check out NFL Straya, myself and Gaz. Check me out on Cobet Daily with my muckers there, Alex and Stats Guy, every day. Get around NBAstraya.com/shop and get your merch. Check us a rating review on your podcast app. Go on, I don't ask for much, do I? Rate, review it, star it, comment, do whatever you have to do. Do it for my birthday. Come on. You're a mate. Jim's getting old. Big thanks go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. They rule, and so do House Hats. Go check out their album Running Out of Time. And Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinator, Goldmines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Sextrader, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them all at Bandcamp, Triple J Earth, Face, Apple Music, Spotify. Remember, NBA Straya supports Australian bands. I can't wait for the draft. Look, I did sort of go, it's not great, but fuck, the draft is the most fun. So we'll see you tomorrow, you dickheads. This is NBA Straya saying, later, hosen.
This is hard.